Have you ever said to yourself, why do I keep ending up with the same kind of person? Different face, different name, but somehow the same pain, the same arguments, the same loneliness, the same emotional distance. It starts great. Connection, excitement, that familiar intensity. But soon, the cracks begin to show. And there you are again, trying to be understood, trying to be enough, trying not to lose them or lose yourself. You wonder, is it just bad luck? Am I choosing wrong? Or is there something deeper going on? Carl Jung had a name for this. He called it unconscious repetition, and he believed we don't just fall into relationships. We are drawn to them by the unresolved parts of ourselves. Jung believed that we are constantly projecting our inner world onto others, especially the people we become emotionally entangled with. We think we're getting to know them, but often we are seeing them through the filter of our unmet needs, our hidden fears, and our unhealed wounds. Let's say, for example, you grew up with a parent who was emotionally distant. They were physically there, but not emotionally present. Maybe they criticized more than they praised, or maybe they simply didn't notice your emotional world at all. Now fast forward to your adult life. You find yourself drawn to partners who feel unavailable. Not because you want to suffer, but because your unconscious is still trying to complete the story. You're still hoping that, this time, the emotionally distant person will finally turn around and love you the way you needed all along. This is the repetition compulsion Jung spoke of, a psychic pattern where the mind recreates familiar pain in the hope of resolving it. But unless we become conscious of it, we just relive it, again and again. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So many people think they're just bad at relationships or unlucky in love. But the truth is, they're being pulled by the past, by archetypes, by shadows they haven't made peace with. One of Jung's most powerful ideas was the concept of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we repress, deny, or disown. When we don't acknowledge our shadow, we project it onto others. Ever notice how someone can trigger an outsized emotional reaction in you, and you can't even explain why? That's a clue. Your reaction might not be about them. It might be about what they represent. The overly confident partner might remind you of your own repressed insecurity. The emotionally cold person might reflect the emotional neglect you still haven't grieved. The partner who needs saving might be a mirror of your wounded inner child. Desperate to be chosen, Jung also introduced the ideas of the anima and animus, the inner feminine within men and the inner masculine within women. These are unconscious images of the ideal partner that live inside us. We don't just fall for people. We fall for our own projections of what they mean. We project our anima or animus onto the other, believing they will complete us, rescue us, or restore something missing within. But eventually, the illusion breaks. And when it does, we either run or we evolve. This is where the work of individuation begins, the process of becoming whole. To break the cycle, we have to ask deeper questions. What part of me keeps choosing this? What emotion do I feel in these moments? And when did I first feel that as a child? What am I trying to fix or prove through this relationship? What am I avoiding by staying in this familiar pattern? Let's ground this in a real-world example. Imagine someone named Sarah. She's strong, smart, compassionate, but every partner she's ever had ends up being controlling or dismissive. On paper, she knows she deserves better, but emotionally she feels safe in those dynamics. In therapy, she begins to explore her childhood. Turns out her father was highly critical and emotionally unpredictable. As a child, she learned that love came with emotional tension, anxiety, and proving herself. So now, without realizing it, she's drawn to people who recreate that same tension. Her unconscious is trying to rewrite the story. Maybe this time, if I'm perfect enough, the critical figure will finally approve of me. Until she brings this to awareness, the pattern continues. This is why insight is power. The more you see, truly see, what your unconscious has been reenacting, the more choice you gain. You can begin to choose partners not from old pain, but from present clarity. You stop seeking to be fixed and start seeking to connect. You stop begging to be chosen and start choosing yourself. And here's the truth. This work isn't easy. It requires grief. It requires radical honesty. It requires letting go of the fantasy that someone else will complete the story for you. But once you do, you start building something real. Not perfect, but real. You begin to set boundaries without guilt, see red flags without explaining them away, value emotional safety over romantic intensity, understand that love shouldn't feel like survival, choose connection, not addiction. Carl Jung believed that every relationship is a mirror, a chance to see ourselves, both the light and the shadow. But we can't use that mirror if we refuse to look. So the next time you feel pulled into the same pattern, pause. Ask yourself, is this love or is this familiar? Because they are not the same. If this resonated with you, leave a comment. Share your story. Your truth might be the very thing someone else needs to hear to begin their healing. Like the video if it helped you connect some dots. And subscribe for more content on Carl Jung, emotional healing, trauma, shadow work, and conscious relationships. You're not broken. You're becoming aware. And that awareness changes everything.